Good morning. Well, it's almost afternoon. It's midday on the 27th of December. And as by now, if you've been following Richard, you'll know that there has been a change of plan and Richard is headed towards Walvis Bay. And you can see on the tracker here, we had a definite course change early afternoon yesterday, and Richard is now making his way to Walvis Bay in the top right-hand corner here. What's happened is Richard's power system on board, which is critical for charging his batteries, and two major functions, although there's many reliant on that. The one is his water maker to make sufficient water. OCS is not big enough to carry enough water for the whole trip, so he is reliant on a water maker, and that requires power to be run. And also his autopilots, which keep the boat on track when he's cooking or sleeping or doing the long list of errands that never seem to end on a boat like this. Those are very power hungry, and they do chew the batteries quite fast. And about 36 hours ago, we noticed, fortunately all these power systems are online, we've been tracking them, we noticed his back solar panels weren't charging anymore. We went through an exhaustive onboard process of checking absolutely everything, and we haven't been able to figure out what the problem is. We're just not getting enough power out of the solar panels to get enough voltage to actually kick into the charging process. And unfortunately, the way OCS is built, or was forced to be built, we can't get access to some of the wiring where we think the issue may be. So we've been left with no choice from a pure safety aspect but to deviate and head toward Walvis Bay. And that's what's happening here. So let me run you through what that actually means. Now, first question might be, why isn't he going to Lüderitz, which is much closer? In fact, let's jump over here and have a look at some of the distances involved. Good old Google Earth. And if we take where OCS is now, and we just, if I can figure out how to work this thing, and we run it through to Lüderitz, we can see that's about 400k. So that seems like the smarter move to go, except the weather won't let us get there. So so we're headed off instead to Walvis Bay, which is still going to be a tough call with the weather. And that's about 600 kilometers to go, and we're forecasting Rich is going to get there around about Monday, Tuesday next week. So he's got a good week of paddling against him. He's got a week of paddling ahead of him to get through to there. So it looks fairly straightforward, but we do have some challenges. So let's jump into the weather and have a look at exactly what those challenges are. So that's Rich's current location now, and there's Walvis Bay. But let's go have a look at the wind maps. And as I explained last time, if you saw the last video, I'm running split screen so we can look at the two different models. So zooming out just a little bit, the green dot there is Richard, and this little finger sticking up is Walvis Bay. So right now Richard has got nice southerlies, and he's trying to make east. And we're getting him to make as much east as he can, because one of the challenges we have with OCS is when the wind is strong, she pretty much can only go with the wind. She can't really track across the wind. So this is now Tuesday. You can see we've got good southeaster, not too strong. Richard will be down in this band of no wind and heading due east. And the reason for that is as we scroll forward, you can see we have some nice southeaster coming through. The PWG model is calling it kind of 20 to 25 knots. The Spire model, which is our preference, is talking about 13 to 15 knots. But either way, they're going to be blowing in parallel to the coast, and we actually need Richards to be tracking across the wind in order to get into Walvis Bay. And OCS, it doesn't really enjoy tracking across the wind the stronger the wind gets. So right now we need to really kind of get him across towards Africa. And there we can see on Wednesday we have a strong southeast coming through, which is going to be pushing him parallel to the coast. And it does die off closer to the weekend. So our challenge really here, as you can see, is we've got to cross quite a significant corridor of southeaster to get him into Walvis Bay. Thanks to Cisco and Desmond Howard, our intrepid surf ski crew based in Walvis Bay. They've jumped into action, and we've got a whole crew ready for them there. We're organizing a towboat to be able to tow them in the last little bit, because getting into Walvis Bay can be quite tricky. We've got to get around Pelican Point here and come into the harbor, so we'll have a tow for this section. Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on him and letting him get on with it. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a rough ride getting across these southeasters. Fortunately, it is blowing him in the right direction, which is great. He's just got to kind of run at an angle. And for those of you that surf ski paddle, you know what it's like to be catching runs and having to run right or left. In this case, Richard's going to be working that right-hand pedal as much as he can in order to try and cut across and get towards the coast of Africa. We'll keep you updated. Richard's in really good spirits. He's obviously really upset that his trip has have to have this detour. But he's in good spirits now that he's focused on the new mission. We'll reevaluate once he gets to Walvis Bay as to what the next step is. But obviously we're hoping we can do a quick fix and he can be on his way again and get across to Salvador. But we'll know more as the days progress and once we get Richard safely tied up in Walvis Bay and we can have a proper look at the boat. Keep an eye on that tracker. Keep an eye on Richard, and we'll be showing information as we go. There may be a little less information than usual, as Richard has a focus now is to get there. And with a power issue on board the boat, he's really conserving battery power, which means internet communications and such like need to be rationed. So it might be a little less detailed than we had before. We may not have a couple of blogs coming from Richard. I think he's going to be quite tired. But we'll do our best to keep you informed and let you know how Richard is getting on. Until next time, adios.